everybody. Welcome to Story Yoga with Meghan. Today we're going to flow through a story that's set in ancient Egypt, so we'll get to meet some cool Egyptian gods and goddesses. Today you'll just need your mat, and if you don't have a mat, you can always use a towel. Remember to listen to your body and do what feels comfortable for you today. Let's have some fun. Before we get started, let's take a look at camel pose. Start with your knees about hips distance apart and your hands on your lower back. Reach the crown of your head up to the sky and then back towards your heels. If this feels okay on your lower back, you can move deeper into the pose by extending one arm into the sky and reaching towards your heel, and then the other arm to the sky. Reach your heart and your chest towards the sky, pushing your hips forward towards the front of your mat. If you feel any crunching sensation in your lower spine, that means you've gone too far into the pose, and you can come out of it gently by putting your hands to your lower back. When you come out of the pose, make sure to sit in hero's pose on your heels afterwards with your spine extending straight and long so your lower back can settle. Let's also take a look at a seated spinal twist. I start with my right leg extended forward and I cross my right foot over my left thigh. My right arm can gently hug my left knee as I twist towards the back of my mat, or I can press my right elbow into my left knee. I breathe in to grow my spine long and I exhale to twist. If it's comfortable for you, you can always bend your right knee. Just make sure that your two sitting bones, the bony parts of your bum, are still pressed into the ground. Again, you can hug your left knee into your chest or gently press your right elbow into your left knee. Inhale, spine grows tall, and exhale to twist. If one of your hip bones is lifting off the ground, extend that bottom leg straight and go back to the first step of the twist. To twist to the right, I bend my right knee into my chest. I cross my right foot over my left thigh, and then I grab onto my right leg with my left elbow. The same modifications apply as on the other side. I can bend my bottom leg to increase the twist as long as my two sits bones are still firmly planted on the ground, or I can also hook my left elbow into my right knee to increase the spinal twist to the right. Now let's look at scorpion pose. I start in sphinx pose with my forearms on the ground, and then I crawl my toes forward so I'm in dolphin pose. I extend one leg to the sky, bending at the knee, just like a scorpion tail, and then I extend the other leg to the sky, bending at the knee. If you have a very flexible back, for example, if you're able to do full wheel pose very comfortably, you could go into the full expression of scorpion pose with two legs into the sky. Now, I highly recommend that if you're going to do full scorpion, you use a wall. Head and fingers would face towards the wall, and then you could place one leg on the wall and the other leg on the wall for full scorpion. Now let's flow to the story Anubis and Apepi by Meghan Crosby.
In ancient Egypt, there were many gods honored by altars that looked like tables. There were two main types of altars. One was small and portable, good for food, flowers, and fragrant incense. And the other was large, made of stone, fit for priests to climb upon to make offerings to the gods. Gods such as Hathor, who often appeared as a cow or bull. Or even the god Bastet, who bore the head of a cat. Now, Hathor the cow was the god of music, and Bastet the cat was the god of enjoyment. Hathor the cow and Bastet the cat both loved to be honored through offerings on these altars, especially when accompanied by music, the cow's favorite, and delicious food, the cat's most ardent desire. But there was one god who despised both the cow and the cat and their illustrious tables. This intimidating god made humans' knees hover and quake off the ground when they heard his name uttered. This god was Anubis, the protector of the dead. Anubis had the body of a man and the head of a jackal, a wild dog-like creature. People were afraid of Anubis because he understood death, whereas, rather like Hathor and Bastet, humans only understood the pleasures of life. Many people would fold forward and bow down in front of Hathor and Bastet, and this made Anubis very jealous. On one fateful day, Anubis decided to seek vengeance because he was jealous of the other gods' many temples and worshippers. No one had ever created an altar in his honor that reached high into the sun and the sky. Anubis wanted his own temple at which people would pray to him. So he set out a plan. When the sun reached its peak in the sky, Anubis dove like a swan into the Nile River, which he knew would take him to his enemies' temples in the towns of Dendara and Bubastis. Anubis, the jackal dog, kicked his legs to swim, raising one to the sky, then the other. As he was swimming, he began searching for other grim creatures to aid in his quest. In the shadows of the deeper waters, dark like a night's velvet sky, he came upon a demon named Apepi, who had the body of a giant cobra. Anubis decided to ask for help with his plan to take down Hathor and Bastet. When the cobra saw something approaching him, she pushed herself up out of the water and waited as still as a plank to see what Anubis could want. As a demon, she was not as strong as a god, and she did not want to anger her visitor. Now, Apepi was the enemy of the sun god, Ra, and she hoped her love of gloom would win her favor with the god of the dead. "Greetings," said Anubis, the jackal dog. "At your service," slithered Apepi. "My friend, I need the help of a cunning cobra like you," stated Anubis. "Too long have gods and demons like us been treated unfairly. It is time we push ourselves up into fame and demand temples of strong stone and planks of wood. Will you join me in this fight?" asked the dog. Apepi considered herself a strong warrior. As a demon, she knew she was more powerful than any human, but she wondered why Anubis had asked her. Before she could respond, Anubis said, "If we are victorious, we will have temples as large as the pyramids." Despite her reservations, that was reason enough for Apepi to agree. "And as strong as the pyramids in their triangle shape?" asked Apepi. "Of course," he replied. "It can be made of silver, gold, platinum. It can even have 3 sides and 3 angles if you would like. It's your temple, so it will match the shape of your heart's desire." Apepi was so happy she thought she could do a half split. No one had ever approached her offering such a lavish reward, especially not a god. She desperately wanted that pyramid-sized temple, but she knew there would be a lot of work involved. She resolved herself to inquire further about exactly who she'd be fighting for this prize. So she looked at Anubis, the jackal dog, and steadied herself. "Are you in?" asked Anubis. "I have some questions first," the cobra calmly stated. "Are these gods or mortals we challenge?" "Gods," was the dog's grave response. "If you are too fearful and not enough of a warrior for the challenge, I completely understand." Apepi's pride was punctured, but she hid her hurt. "Quite the contrary," she sneered smoothly. "I can take on any god. I am as tough as the very pyramids you promise." "Good, because we will be taking on Hathor and Bastet, 2 deities who are stronger than anything or any shape, even a triangle." Apepi flicked her long tongue. "If I wanted to, I could unhinge my jaw and devour them whole, every side and every angle." "That's the kind of passion I need," declared Anubis. "They may be powerful gods, but we have darkness on our side. If we can pull this off, I promise to split in half their temples, followers, and riches." Without hesitation, Apepi whispered, "Let's suck those gods dry of their pyramids." The two clasped tails to seal their pact. They laughed maniacally, and their howls and hisses echoed through the wide desert, almost causing waves of water to overflow the Nile. Then the dog redirected them to their task. If we want to steal altar tables from this cunning cow and this conniving cat, we will have to disguise ourselves, said Anubis. What if we fool the cow and cat by posing as humans? Suggested Apepi. Ah, sighed Anubis. We can pretend to be heroes on a pilgrimage to honor them. And we'll ride in on the backs of camels to their temples, added Apepi. They will never see us coming. So off they went on camelback. As the devious gods made their way through the desert, they noticed many other gods and creatures traveling. Where is everyone going? Pondered Anubis aloud. Beats me, replied Apepi. The two disguised heroes became so curious that they decided to question a passerby on a barge in the Nile. It was Ra, the sun god. Where are you off to, Ra? Anubis investigated. I am headed to the feast of the divine union, Ra told the dog in disguise. Many of us are on our way to honor the god Horus at Edfu Temple. Apepi thought quickly. Will his mother Hathor be there? Yes, I hear she is nearing the end of her 106-mile journey to the temple. Perhaps you should join us? Ra's barge lurched forward as he sailed onward. Before he was out of sight, Ra glanced back suspiciously at the travel companions. I think we will, said Anubis. The clouds parted, and Ra turned away, and he sped off with the help of the energy of the sun, high in the sky. Anubis and Apepi looked first at each other, and then they squinted at Ra with his falcon head, almost like that of a majestic eagle, shrinking in the distance. The universe seems to be in our favor, exclaimed Anubis. If we are crafty, we may be able to steal the temples of more than just Hathor and Bastet today, with all of their throne-like chairs. And all in one place, added Apepi. I'm surprised that Ra with his eagle-like eyes didn't discover our true identities. All the more reason to act quickly before he discovers our plot, barked Anubis. They picked up their pace on the perilously hot sand as they rerouted towards Edfu Temple, where they hoped to steal their own temples and throne-like chairs. After traveling for what felt like hours in the scorching heat of the Sahara Desert, Anubis the dog paused his panting to speak. Look, he spat to Apepi the cobra. Do you see those? It looks like a person's head, but with paws, she slithered. It's a sphinx, Anubis exclaimed. And there's more of them. We must be at the Avenue of the Sphinxes in Luxor. We are more than halfway to Edfu's temple. As they squinted at the majestic stone figures, they started to hear a buzzing sound. Oh no! Locusts! Screamed Apepi. Thousands of flying bugs darted at them from all sides. Then a deafening voice boomed from the sky. Fools, heed the words of Horus. Begone from this place. You think you can steal the temples of my mother Hathor and my friend Bastet on the day of my festival? Suddenly, Anubis and Apepi were struck flat on the ground. Well, think again, the voice of Horus echoed. Quickly, we can take shelter between the sphinxes, suggested Anubis as they ran and slithered away from the bugs. Just when they thought they were safe, scorpions appeared from the right and the left. They were surrounded. "We're not scared of you," declared Apepi. "I think," she added as the scorpions got closer. Anubis started digging a hole. "What are you doing?" cried Apepi. "Hiding," he roughed. Without another word, they both jumped into the hole underneath the Sphinx and hid like scared children. "Ra, the sun god who sees everything, told me of your plan," Horus's voice continued. "Confess, and I will spare you from the wrath of my falcon talons. I am protector of kings, and I will protect my fellow gods just the same." As Anubis and Apepi peeked out of their hole, they discovered that night had fallen. The god Khonsu, the monkey-like baboon, had drawn the curtain of night while on his way to Horus's temple. "Should we confess?" asked Anubis. "I don't want to be plagued by insects and arachnids for the rest of eternity." They heard Khonsu's monkey howl from the other side of the sky. "I just want to return to the cool of the Nile," sniffed Apepi. "What have you decided?" boomed Horus. "We give up! We give up!" whined Anubis. "We won't try to take what isn't ours again," chimed in Apepi, as the two prostrated themselves in a seated forward fold on the ground. "A wise choice," Horus replied. "To desire is part of life, but to steal is to dare the dance of death." "Yup, definitely not doing that dance again," huffed Anubis. There was a thunderous cracking sound, followed by a large thump, thump, thump of wings, and with that, the echoing voice of Horus disappeared. "Oh, I'm beat," yawned Apepi. She sat up and curled her tail underneath her to twist her back to the left. "Me too," agreed Anubis as he scanned the sky to make sure Horus and his falcon fiends were in fact gone. "I suppose we'll have to find another way to get temples of our own." "Perhaps," pondered Apepi as she swung her tail to the other side and sat twisting her spine to the right. "But this time, I think we need to gather followers and fame in a virtuous way, through doing good deeds instead of taking what doesn't belong to us." "Oh, that's no fun," teased Anubis, who snapped playfully at Apepi's tail. "But I suppose you're right. We almost became corpses back there." And the two continued to imagine what was the right way to achieve recognition as they lay down in the sand and within the Nile's cool waters. And their eyes drooped and they drifted off to sleep. The end. Now, we'll all rest together for about 3 minutes in Shavasana. Close your eyes if you can and rest. slowly and gently start to wake up your body from Shavasana. Make any small movements with your hands or feet. You can gently rock your head from side to side. You can twist your knees from one side and then to the other. When you're ready, roll over onto one side. The right side is believed to give us a more gentle waking up of the body, and the left provides you with a little more energy and a little more pep. Once you've rolled onto your side in a fetal position like a baby, use the strength of your arms to gently push yourself into a comfortable seat. Feel your two sits bones rooted firmly into the ground beneath you, and your spine stacked tall and long. With your eyes still closed, let's all take 3 collective breaths as a group. Start by exhaling all of your stale air out of your lungs on a shh sound. Shh. Once you're empty, breathe in through your nose full and sigh out your mouth. 2 more, breathe in through your nose, sigh it out your mouth. Last time, breathe in through your nose, sigh it out through your mouth. Let your breathing return to normal and gently rub your palms together, generating some warmth. Once your palms are heated, hover your hands in front of your closed eyes. Gently open up your eyelashes. Hands descend to heart center, palms pressed. The light in me honors and bows to the light inside of you. Namaste.